Hi all, it's Celthyn here. Haven't done an intro yet, might do that at some point, but for now, want to talk through what our journey through mental health services has been so far. So, the first thing to note is that we are relatively lucky in many ways. So, our employer provides private health insurance, including mental health care, which has been valuable. And on top of that, we live in a country where there is uh, free public health care available, including mental health. Um, and that's both of those are obviously fortunate things to have access to, um, especially given that neither one on its own would have gotten us to the point we are. And um, they both have been valuable in their own ways. Yeah, well, so obviously, yes, the private healthcare cut a significant chunk of our waiting time for which has been helpful. Um, Admittedly, it hasn't guaranteed the quality of the care entirely. We did have, for example, we did have a therapist drop us as we were too complex a case, and this was a therapist provided by the private healthcare. Um, and the first psychologist we saw through them was questionable. They didn't disclose what the recommended medication was for, or really disclose what they were thinking in terms of diagnoses. At least as far as we can remember, that could be our memory issues, but we doubt it severely. We suspect there was genuinely a lack of proper treatment and care there. So we didn't notice at the time that that was a bad thing to be doing because this is our first real experience with a psychiatrist. But anyway, yeah, that's why we're bringing it up so that people know to look out for that and to ask to have those explanations because it can be important and it's valuable information to have. You know, just that um, you can try and explain things in a different way if you feel like people aren't getting it. Yeah. Um, yeah. So, our neuropsychiatrist, well, we say that, but it seems like it will be a one time thing, which isn't too bad. But, they felt another call was unnecessary. Um, but they recognise the difference in names relative to the body's name, not just in the session, but in the written report afterwards, which was nice. They were open about their thoughts and potential diagnoses, including providing us with the report they wrote on that we're not going to share, but it was good to read, although difficult, because of course it was discussing difficult topics to a degree, but it was a good read anyway and is useful to have. And they also they did pretty much they were pretty openly like, yeah, no, yeah, no, I think you have DID, which was pleasant. Admittedly, it probably helped that we, for whatever reason, felt that it was safe to switch in the session in a relatively open manner, um, which is uncommon for us around new people. We tend to be a relatively discreet system and hide quite a lot, especially in person. And guess probably in part Stabby being frustrated and fed up with poor care and pushing to get us better care, basically. Although can't say for certain. I we're unsure who switched out. Um, yeah, but they also open about the current medication and its primary uses, which was good to know. We yeah, we're continuing on the medication, even though it's generally used as an antipsychotic. It has been helpful to us for more depressive symptoms. Since starting it, we have had fewer instances of desires towards self-harm and less suicidality, both of which are obviously things we want to avoid. But it looks at this point like we might be getting a new therapist through the private, although that depends, because private is funded by work. We do have to potentially share the report with our employers if we want that funding. And at this stage, we're uncertain whether or not we're ready to share the report that's like, hey, this body you employed has DID with our employers, because that's a scary thing to disclose. And yeah, so that's a concern there. So we might not get funding for that. We might, but the good news is that the waiting lists for the public healthcare are getting close to an end. We've got a assessment appointment booked, at least for that. Now, that's not for another month, but we've got that assessment booked. But anyway, we now have calls to make on how open to be with people, especially work, who we so far haven't been open with. But we might decide to be more open now. Haven't decided on that yet, and it's a tricky one to make a decision on, because it's although it's a relatively secure job, there is always concern when being open about something like this around people, and yeah, we don't know how people would take it, and we don't want people to prejudge us over it, and so yeah, that is what it is, unfortunately, at this stage in time. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Let's see, is there anything else to bring up? I suppose, let's see, previous stuff. Oh yeah, there was once, years ago, but again through public, we did a short cognitive behavioral therapy course. Well, that was mostly Sedna that did that, and they claim it helped, but the rest of us can't really tell. But if it helped Sedna get through that part of our lives, being stuck as host in that part of our lives, then we can't complain too much, especially given it costs us nothing but a small amount of time, and time that wouldn't have been spent productively anyways otherwise. So that was probably good to have. Other than that, let's see, therapist at school, basically useless, didn't really help at all. But what do you expect from a school therapist? University staff, I mean, that's where we got CBT, but that was through public healthcare, basically, rather than through the university. The university themselves didn't provide any reasonable support for anything. In fact, the university did the opposite in refusing to recognise our diagnosis for dyspraxia, and therefore refusing to give us any accommodations on that front, which is something we might have fought hard. We might now, if we went back, fight hard for, but at the time felt unimportant. Although it might well have been worth fighting for those anyway. It might have helped somewhat. Although, given the amount we struggled at the university with other mental health stuff, probably not significantly. Yeah, think that is, yeah, that's everything at this point. Let me know if you want me to do an intro video. I'm sure I can carve out some time to do so if people want to hear more from me. Or if you've got a video you want me to talk about specifically. Or, obviously anyone else in the system. I won't be offended if you ask for someone else. Then it's fine. Even if it's on one of my videos. Yeah. Cool. Well, we as a system will talk to you all hopefully next week. Sorry for missing a week. We had a very busy Saturday and we were out all day and didn't find the time to record. Hopefully that won't happen again. Or we'll try and find a way to let people know if it's going to happen again at least. Yeah. Cool. Bye now. This system signing out. Hope to catch you all next week. Please do remember to like, subscribe, comment, especially if you've got any questions you want answered. Be happy to answer them either in the comments or in another video. So catch you all next week.